John Carter voiceovers.
Oh yeah, J Ski Matisse on the mix. J Ski Matisse. That used to be my, that was actually my first, I believe my very first DJ name back in the day when I wanted to be a DJ. And I taught my parents into getting me a Technics 1200 turntable, which was and is the legendary DJ Battle turntable. Of course, the only problem was they were very expensive. So my parents bought me one turntable. And so I was DJ J Ski Matisse on the wheel of steel. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't afford to have two wheels of steel at that time. But later on, I got the other wheel of steel. And that's when I got moving on those wheels of steel. Anyway, background story there. John Carter voiceovers here. Shout out to my man Evan Olson in Greensboro, North Kakalaki. Evan did the jingles for the JCVO mini podcast, the John Carter voiceovers. Check out Evan's music on Spotify. And you've also heard his stuff in TV shows and movies and all kinds of stuff. His website, if you want to learn more about him, is evanolson.com. He's the man, and he's my buddy. My name is Johnny. What's your name? This is the JC Mini Podcast. Today, the topic at hand is comedy. Comedy, which you're not going to hear a whole lot of on this podcast. Okay, just kidding. I'll try to make you laugh here and there because it's a mini podcast. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got time to be doing 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? I got to get to work. I got to make some cash and feed my German Shepherd. But anyway, so back in the day when I first started in radio, I was trying to figure out like what direction I was going in. And at that time, I was going in many directions. And one of the first things I tried when I first got my very first full-time gig in radio was swing utility position at Rock 92 and 107.5 The Eagle back in the day. By the way, The Eagle had the worst slogan of any radio station I've ever heard in my life back in the 90s when I started. The slogan, get this, was 107.5 The Eagle, the best mix of hits with no hard rock or rap. And I was a young up-and-comer back then, so I loved hard rock and rap. So every time I said that, I felt like I was selling my soul. But still loved that job, and it was a great opportunity and a great place to work. But anyway, I was swing utility there. That was my first full-time gig, which basically meant I was on call. That's kind of a fancy way of saying, hey, when we call you, you got to get up off your butt and come in, even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. If somebody's sick, if a full-timer can't make it, you the man, get in here. And I loved it. Loved every minute of it because I was so eager to work in radio. I was like, yes, I was a yes man back then. Wanted to do it, you know, pay my dues. But one of the things I was trying to do back then too was I found out about this comedy network in New York City called the Satellite Comedy Network, and it was owned by the radio legend, the legendary Rick Dees, who actually started his career in Greensboro, North Carolina as well back in the day. He started his career working on the air in Greensboro, but Rick Dees at this point was very famous out of Los Angeles. He had multiple TV shows. He was doing morning shows, and kind of like Ryan Seacrest is kind of like a modern day Rick Dees on a lot of levels. But Rick Dees owned the Satellite Comedy Network, and they bought comedy bits. Like you could write and produce a comedy bit and voice it, record it, and send it in. And if they liked it, they would actually purchase your comedy bit and pay you good money for it. And then they would supply your comedy bit along with all the others they purchased from different comedy writers and producers all over the country. They would supply those to radio stations all over the world to be used and aired on morning shows as content back in the day. So I guess you could say I was a content creator back then. Today I want to share with you the very first comedy bit I ever sold to the Satellite Comedy Network back in the day that got aired on radio stations all over America and in some other countries. This is the first comedy bit. I wrote it, I produced it, I voiced it, and it's going to make me blush because my voice sounds so funny in this one. But please forgive me, this was a long time ago. But enjoy this awkward moment. This is the first comedy bit I ever sold to Rick Dees and the Satellite Comedy Network back in the day. It's called Kitty Cat Fiberall. Enjoy.
Does your kitty cat get irregular at times? Does your frisky little feline often experience excruciating pain when trying to pinch a loaf? Well, tell your kitty to meow goodbye to pains associated with irregularities. Purina Cat Foods introduces new Kitty Cat Fiberall. After one dose, your cat will attain a normal, cheerful state of regularity. Meow! Meow! New Kitty Cat Fiberall. Your kitty is guaranteed to love that fishy, meaty flavor. And best of all, it feels as good coming out as it does going in. New Kitty Cat Fiberall. Guaranteed to make your cat so happy, it could just purr.
Wow, man, that takes me back. One of the very cool things about that, at that point in my career, I wasn't like super confident. I was trying to figure things out. And when I got a check in the mail from Rick Dees, and he signed the check and he put a personal note on it, he was known for doing that back in the day. And he said, "Great work, John, really funny stuff, keep them coming." The confidence boost I got from that, like literally to this day, I still think about stuff like that. So just a note to self, give people, compliment other people on their work and reach out to them and let them know what kind of job they're doing, especially people who may be new to a certain position or industry, because we really need that kind of confidence and that kind of feedback. Because looking back to, now, it really, I still have a photocopy of that check he sent me. I need to frame it and put it in my office. But anyway, it was just such a cool thing. And knowing that bit was going to air all over the country on morning shows and stuff like that was really, I was like, wow, I actually did something here. So anyway, that is the JCVO mini podcast for the day. Just a little look back into the past. Kind of a fun little trip down memory lane. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Thank you so much for checking out the JCVO mini podcast. I got to get back behind the microphone. Well, actually, I'm behind the microphone right now, but I got to get back behind this microphone and start working. I got to get to work. Have a great week, and thanks for checking out the mini podcast. Peace and love from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City, baby. Bye-bye.
JC